And I kind of want to end this day with something from Ron Paul. I love Ron Paul. Man, why'd you leave, Ron Paul? Why'd you leave Congress, man? You were that dude. Man. Talking about Ron, wouldn't I have loved to have a Ron Paul vice president, Trump, or vice versa, you know what I mean? Man. PeakProsperity.com. Dr. Paul served as the U.S. Representative for Texas' 27th Congressional District from 1976 to 85. He then represented the 14th District from 77 to 2013. Well, that doesn't make sense. Anyways, he ran for the office of president 3 times, most recently in the 2012 Republican primaries. Dr. Paul also had a long career as an OB/GYN, over which he delivered more than 4,000 babies. The current author of the book, The Revolution at 10 Years. Dr. Paul looks ahead at the future of the movement he helped launch, tackling central planning, the military empire, cultural Marxism, the surveillance state, the deep state, and the real threats from these institutions to our civil liberties. As a multi-term member of Congress, Dr. Paul knows the players and the policies responsible for the growing unfairness and inequality now rampant in society. Please see my very last video on the homeless epidemic in the west coast of the United States. He does not expect he does not expect the offenders will reform willingly. Instead, he predicts the system will collapse under its own unsustainability, offering a rare and valuable chance then for more sound and fair solutions to prevail. And he says, wealth doesn't come from the creation of money, especially a fiat system. With too much fiat money and all this credit, eventually the economy becomes exhausted and engulfed with debt and malinvestment. Speaking of malinvestments, the pyramid scheme cryptos. Oh my God, right? A fool shall soon be parted of his money. Or a fool and his money will soon be parted. And of course, there's all kinds of other schemes, not related to crypto, of course, just typical crap that's been out there. The treatment for this is a correction. You have to allow the debt to be liquidated. You have to get rid of the malinvestment, not have the Federal Reserve and the Chinese Central Bank and the Bank of Japan and the European Central Bank buying up the trash, keeping the prices and everything high. Let it freaking go. Let it go. Let it go. Can't hold on to this dead bubble anymore. Sorry. The treatment for this is to allow a correction. You have to allow the debt to be liquidated. You've got to get rid of the malinvestment, and you have to allow real economic growth to start all over again. But that wasn't permitted in 2008 or 2009. Which is why there's been stagnation. It's hard to believe that today we have negative interest rates. Real rates are negative and people aren't grabbing them up. A shortage of money isn't the problem here. Rather, it's a shortage of understanding market conditions. We're overtaxed and overregulated. This is resulting in a destructive system that has divided the country into 2 groups. Those who haven't recovered from the great financial crisis versus those who are getting very rich because they're on the receiving end of the new money created by the Federal Reserve. The people who get to create the credit get to distribute the credit, which always results in a situation where money becomes unfairly distributed. Well, it's the trickle-down effect. We're going to give the banks all this money. It'll trickle down to Main Street, not Wall Street. Wall Street will get it, but then it trickles down, and none of the damn stuff trickled down. As its allocation is no longer dependent on productivity. We haven't changed anything. We still have a system. Hold on. We still have a system where we encourage people to borrow money. That debt doesn't matter, and we're not going to cut taxes. And we're not even going to admit that we spend too much money. Nobody can cut anything. That's why Washington is at a stalemate. A lot of people don't like Obamacare, but there's enough people who do like it. Once it has been implemented, it is very hard to get rid of a program. I also don't think that the proposed tax reforms will actually lower taxes. They never do. Our politicians won't admit where the real problem lies. overspending, monetizing the debt, taking over the world through the monetary system, financing wars, financing welfare, and the military-industrial complex. It's going to continue until this whole thing comes apart. And on that note, that last note there, Trump says Japan will knock out any missiles fired from North Korea with newly purchased missiles from the United States. Unbelievable. Let me read that last one. Our politicians won't admit where the real problem lies. Overspending, monetizing the debt, taking over the whole world through the monetary system, financing wars, financing welfare, and the military-industrial complex. It's going to continue until this whole thing comes apart. The eventual event will be driven by the marketplace. When it comes undone, I'm thinking of Duran Duran. Who do you know when it comes undone? Or whatever the words are, you know. Cannot believe you're selling Japan missiles at the sea. When it does come undone, they will no longer be able to prop things up just by printing more money. If we have a sharp downturn and they decide, well, QE didn't work because it wasn't enough, and they double QE, there'll be a point of no return, and all confidence will be lost. We'll dump the dollar. Interest rates will go up instead of down. That will make all the difference in the world because it will be unsustainable and create real challenges for the dollar remaining the reserve currency when the dollar no longer serves as the world's key currency. That's when the ball game will be over. And you guys been seeing anything happening over in the rest of the world? China, Russia, you know, deals they're making. We're not there, as I've said 1,000 times. It's kind of looking, you know, the SWIFT system, international payment system, they've got their own now. We're not included. You know, we didn't have any say so. Yeah, I do think the days are numbered for the dollar. Will it be this week, next month? No. But you can be rest assured it's going to come. No superpower remains the superpower. They go down, and they usually go down because of financial massive debt obligations that they could not deal with. Look up history. Take care.